everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Chris Yee.
And today we're taking a look at a game called Panda Spin from Carl Chuddick. And this is a game that calls itself a trick taker, but it's actually a card shedding game.
Yeah, it is. Almost 90% of the rules base is directly Big Two, the classic and traditional Chinese game that I think is like centuries old.
Yes, and that matters because 2 is the highest number, although this game makes it easy by using the Chinese symbol for 2, so you'll never forget that. You're like, oh, that's the highest card.
Correct, yeah.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's Panda Spin. That's the gimmick of the game. Your cards come one way, but you can spin them to the other side where they are better. Let me show you how it plays. In this game, you're using bamboo tokens as points. Everyone will start with 1 point. You will either flip or choose which side of the panda to start on, the token here. And then you're going to deal out one of these cards to each player, depending on how many players are in the game. The number on the card is going to determine who goes first. But more importantly, let's say you're playing a 3-player game, it determines the 3 elements that you're going to be playing with in that game. And then you'll go through the deck and find all the cards with that element and put them in. You'll shuffle it and give everyone 2 cards. Now, in this game, there is a white side and a blue side. At the beginning of the game, when you get your cards, you will only have the white side showing. And then the person who goes first will simply play a card in the middle of the table or multiple cards. You can play 1 card of the same value. You can also play 2 cards of the same value. You can play 3 cards of the same value. You can also play a run, 5, 6, 7, for example. I could play that. Whatever you play, each other person has to play the same thing you did, but higher, or they can play a bomb. Just as a quick reference, if you play a bomb, that's 4 cards of the same value. So if I had 4 10s, I could play them, and that can beat anything. And if you have one of these cards in your hand, these cards will also be in the deck, and specifically, this says win a trick with no bomb in it if you have 7 or less cards in your hand. These will always win a trick. But otherwise, you keep going around. When it comes back to me, let's say I play 5, 6, 7, and somebody else plays 7, 8, 9. That's higher than me. Comes back to me. I could play higher than 7, 8, 9 if I want. And by the way, the highest card in this set is the 2. 2 is the highest, then ace, then king, queen, all the way down to 3 being the lowest number. But anyway, if I don't want to play it, if all my cards are white, they go back in my hand, but I flip them over to the blue side, which is inherently better. I'll talk a little bit more about that. If any of the cards I played, though, has a blue side, and I decide that I can't outplay what I played already, then all my cards are discarded, and you're trying to clear out your hand. If you get rid of all the cards in your hand, you will get points equal to the number of cards in the hand of the player who has the most cards in their hand, with a max being 7 points. And the goal is to get 15 points over the course of this game. Once you flip these blue cards, there's all kinds of things. Some of them turn into triples. That makes it easier to play a bomb. Water is wild, so this is a 10 and another number. I can make it a double 10 or a 10-9. You just can't use water as bombs. Bamboo, when you play that, hey, you get points for having those in your hand. Panda symbol is going to refer to the panda that's out here. If the panda is in this circular motion, you'll be able to rotate cards in your hand. If it's the hungry one, you're stealing a point from the person who played directly before you. And fire lets you discard cards from your hand. And that's it. Like I said, when someone gets rid of all the cards in their hand, that's going to end the round, and the first person to 15 points is the winner. Now, you mentioned that this was based on Big Two. Is that what the original? Yeah. Oh, I have it. I played it. And I find Big Two to be okay.
It's super basic.
Fine.
It's a centuries-old game, literally. And so most of the time when we review a game like this, someone says, well, this is just that game. Like, well, I mean, Carl Chuddick, the designer here, clearly also took on a lot of special powers and a lot of additions and stuff. Does, at the end of the day, play just like almost every other card shedding game in that like main structure? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I think this one's pretty dramatically different, actually.
Because of all those extra powers, there's the special element card. Yeah, there's a lot that's different in here, but also, yeah, the core structure of the game is the classic game still.
Yeah, I like first of all, the look of this game is unbelievably good. The
Yeah.
foil cards in the back, the artwork, it's easy to remember. The white ones go up until you switch them to blue. Normally, you might have trouble which cards go face up. I didn't find that to be an issue at all in this game.
Not at all, no. And the backs of the cards are they're not rotationally symmetric, but that is actually quite functional in the game. You don't want them to look the same, from the front of the back. You can kind of look at someone's hand and be like, whoa, they have a lot of upgraded cards. And when the cards are upgraded, they are really upgraded in this game.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think that's where the fun of the game is. It's also a really cool mechanism where I'm putting cards back in my hand, which you don't want to do in this game, but they're better. You want someone to be better than you. So if I have, for example, at the beginning of the game, I have 4 ones in my hand. Or not one. Well, aces, whatever. And or let's say 4 threes, the worst hand. But it's a bomb.
Right.
But I'm like, I could do that. But I'm going to put out 3 threes because I bet you someone can beat that. And then I get those better cards in my hand.
And they'll flip around, and now they have water power and fire power, and this single card is 3 of a kind of 8s. I mean, when they upgrade, they really upgrade into some weird and cool things.
They do. Now, I will say there's that Panda token I showed you, and it tells you can either flip it or choose. It really will dramatically change how the game plays, I found. Because one of them lets you flip cards, and if you do that, you're going to have a more crazy game, and you'll have people's hands completely flipped after a while. It just flips. There's just much more flipping happening because the pandas are flipping. If you play with the other one where you steal a point from the last person, the game is slightly longer because, well, you're taking points from people and you're trying to get 15 to win.
Right.
So I kind of prefer to play on the spinning one because I like the wonkiness of that, but I don't think I would ever flip it. I think I would feel out the play group and see, because some people don't like the idea of stealing points.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's interesting that it does change up the game. I think that, let's see, what else? There's the Panda power. I think that they're mostly found on the rotated side of the cards. There's fire, which allows you to discard. There's, the bamboo one, you just take a point.
Sure.
It kind of feels like there's a lot of little extra things in there that are unfortunately kind of easy to forget to do because you're excited. Oh, I get to play out 3 queens, which beats your 3 10s. I feel good about that. And then a turn or two later, you're like, oh, sorry, guys, I was supposed to take a bamboo point. I was supposed to take a point. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to discard a card from hand earlier.
I feel like the symbols are a little small.
Yeah.
And a reference card for a player that very clearly said what each power did. I mean, you'll say, well, you'll learn them after a bit, but still, just having that out as a reminder, I think, would have helped.
I think there is it's a 2-sided player aid.
It's on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
But the bamboo tokens are cool looking.
They're great looking. Yeah, it's funny because they say 1 and 5. If you have the 5s upside down, it looks like an S. I'm like, what's S points? Flip it over. Oh, yeah. But no, I think the production is fantastic. I think my only real complaints are sometimes it's easy to forget to activate those little symbols, the fire and the water and the bamboo symbols. And then I don't love those element cards. The ones they beat any trick as long as a bomb hasn't been played, as long as a special condition on that card is also true. And then you draw up 2 cards afterwards. It kind of feels like one more rule after a game that already has a decent amount of rules for a simple structure game.
It's also hard for me to kind of prepare for those. I know they're in the game, maybe.
Yeah.
And I have to sit there and think, okay, like if you pick up your card and it has 3 8s on it, I'm like, oh, he can play 3 8s at any time. I know that. I don't know if you have one of those in your hand. I can't remember the special rules for it. Like this one, has that rule. It's a lot to remember. I agree. I felt that was not as exciting to see those, and almost they're not super fun to play with new players with that because players are like, I have a rules question, and I'm like, yep, I know what it is. You got one of those in your hand.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the clunkiest part of the game, but I do like pretty much every other aspect of it.
I like the chaos a lot. I mean, it's fun chaos, and I don't mean chaos, but I like how the game starts. It's almost, to me, it's reminiscent of both John DeClaire's
Ruins, the all-play Ruins,
and his other game, the other one where you're shedding cards, that
Custom Heroes.
Custom Heroes, except that you just flip the card rather than slide things in.
I had the same thought. I had the same comparison, actually.
But this is smoother than those, actually.
Yes.
But maybe not as good. It's hard to explain. You have less control. You're just playing cards and they get flipped or not. But I do like it. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I find it to be very enjoyable. It's just shy of being great, but when I want to play kind of that back and forth silliness, and it's pretty to play, I like the size of the cards. Yeah, there's a lot I like about it.
Yeah, I am also coming in at an 8 out of 10. I think that this is a really neat game. Like I said, the few little complaints being, I think those element cards are just kind of like a rule too much, and then lead to too many moments where people say, well, I'm going to play this one now. Oh, wait, I can't play this one because you bombed in. You know, there's innately kind of a lot of rules that maybe people aren't used to in classic shedding games like this, especially the rules about bombs and what that means, 4 of a kinds, and how once someone bombs and you can bomb a bomb with a higher bomb, and then you throw these element cards on top of that. I feel like that's the part that's just a bridge too far. But man, everything else about this is fun. I love strategically playing losing hands in order to get them back and to upgrade them. And sometimes you can, but also I think it's a great rule that if you play any upgraded cards, even with with unupgraded cards, they all go away. Once again, it's like a little bit of rules factor, but
it works smoothly.
It works smoothly, and it leads to really great strategic choices for a game where you're dealt a random hand of cards and say, make the best of it. I like it a lot.
All right, well, that's Panda Spin. Definitely check it out. I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Chris Yee.
We want to say thank you to some of our GameFound backers. We want to say thank you to Lintu Vara Lauta Peli Rima, to Will Kelly, and to Samuel Wang from Malaysia. Thank you all for supporting our GameFound, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee again.
And we're spinning pandas. You're right. We already said that once. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.